Choosing the right light bulb. I mean, it seems like such a simple task, right? But honestly, it's one of the most important decisions you can make for the safety and comfort of your home. If you get it wrong, you're left squinting at everything. But if you get it right, you create a space that feels clear, comfortable, and most importantly, safe. Today, we're going to show you exactly how to get it right every single time. So let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a restaurant, maybe a dimly lit one, and you find yourself pulling out your phone, turning on the flashlight just to read the menu? It is not your imagination. The world literally gets dimmer as we get older. It's a super common experience, and it's all rooted in some pretty simple biology.
So why does this happen? Well, it boils down to two main reasons. First, the lens inside our eye, it naturally starts to yellow over time. It's kind of like having a built-in filter that makes it harder to tell similar colors apart. And second, our pupils tend to shrink, and they just don't open as wide in dim light as they used to. Now, you add those two things together, and here's the kicker. A 60-year-old's eye might need up to 3 times more light than a 20-year-old's just to see with the exact same level of clarity. So here's our game plan. It's simple. First, we'll quickly cover why the world seems to dim. Then, I'll introduce you to what I call the big 3 of lighting. After that, we'll talk color and clarity, how to dodge flicker and glare, and we'll wrap it all up with a really practical, room-by-room plan you can use right away.
Okay, so these natural changes to our eyes mean we have a totally new set of requirements for light. It's not just about needing more light anymore. We need less glare, and we need light that shows us truer colors. This means that just going out and buying brighter bulbs, that's not going to cut it. You have to buy the right bulbs.
So how in the world do we find the right bulbs? Well, first, we need to completely move past the old way of thinking about light. It's time for a brand new framework, and we're calling it the big 3 of lighting. For decades, we have all been trained to think in watts. But here's the thing. Watts only tell you how much energy a bulb uses. It has nothing to do with how bright it is. And now, in the age of these super efficient LEDs, watts are basically an outdated metric. The new way, the correct way, is to think in lumens. And that, my friends, brings us to the big 3. These are the only 3 numbers you need to look for. You can find them on that little lighting facts label on the side of any light bulb box. It's lumens for brightness, Kelvin for the color of the light, and CRI for color accuracy. If you understand these 3 things, I promise you, you will never buy the wrong bulb again. All right, let's break down each one of these. We're going to start with the single most important shift in how we shop for bulbs, finally moving away from watts to the true measure of brightness. So let's talk about lumens. It is actually so simple. Lumens, you'll see it abbreviated as LM. Just measure the actual brightness of a bulb. That's it. More lumens means more light. So from this moment on, you can completely ignore those watt equivalents on the package and just look for the lumen number. Okay, so how many lumens do you actually need? Well, for general ambient lighting, the kind that just fills a whole room, you'll want to aim for somewhere between 800 and 1100 lumens. But for focused task lighting, like the lamp you use for reading or the lights over your kitchen counter, you need a much brighter, more dedicated source. For those, you should be looking for bulbs in the 1000 to 1600 lumen range. Next up is Kelvin, and you'll see it noted with a K. Now, this number doesn't measure brightness at all. It measures the color of the white light. This is how you choose the mood and the function of a room. It ranges from a warm, cozy yellow light to a cool, crisp bluish light. And this right here is where a lot of people make a mistake. They use the exact same color temperature for the entire house. For areas where you want to relax, like your living room or bedroom, a warm white, something around 2700 K, is just perfect. It's cozy. But for task areas like your kitchen or your bathroom, where you really need to see clearly, a cool white, around 4000 K, provides much, much better contrast. And that brings us to our third metric. This is the one that most people have never even heard of, but it is, without a doubt, the most critical for seeing clearly, especially as our eyes age. This is kind of like the expert's secret. It's called the Color Rendering Index, or CRI. It's a simple scale from 0 to 100 that measures how accurately a light bulb shows you the true colors of objects. A cheap bulb with a low CRI makes everything look dull and flat and washed out. It's why you can never tell if you're grabbing the navy blue sock or the black one from your drawer. That's a low CRI problem. So the most crucial point is this. When you're shopping, look for bulbs with a CRI of 90 or higher. This is the gold standard. It's non-negotiable, it makes colors pop, it improves contrast, and it really helps you distinguish edges, which is absolutely vital for safety, like seeing the edge of a step clearly. Okay,
Once you've mastered the big three, there are just two more factors to think about for maximum comfort: flicker and glare. These two are often the culprits behind eye strain and headaches, and most people don't even realize it. Now, good quality LEDs are perfectly safe, but cheap ones can have this invisible flicker that your brain still picks up on, and it causes a ton of strain. The solution is easy. Always buy bulbs that are marketed as flicker-free. Now, an even bigger enemy is glare, and here's the secret. Beating glare isn't just about the bulb, it's about the fixture that it's in. Using things like shades, diffusers, or even fixtures that aim light upward is the real key to creating soft, even, and comfortable light. So, with all of this in mind, which type of bulb should you actually be using? Let's just break it down real quick. Halogens, they get dangerously hot, and those swirly CFLs, they have really poor color quality, and they contain mercury, which makes them a pain to dispose of. The choice is crystal clear. High-quality LEDs are the definitive winner across the board for efficiency, lifespan, safety, and their ability to give us that beautiful, high CRI light we've been talking about. All right, now for the fun part. Let's put all of this into practice. We're going to take our new knowledge of lumens, Kelvin, and CRI and build a simple room-by-room plan for the most important spaces in your home. In the kitchen, your overhead lights should be nice and bright, over 1,000 lumens at a cool 4,000 K with a high CRI. But the non-negotiable element here is under cabinet task lighting. This is a game changer. It puts bright focus light exactly where you're working, and it completely eliminates the shadows that your own body casts on the counter. Now, the classic bathroom mistake is that single bar of lights above the mirror. It's so common, but it casts these really harsh shadows down your face. The much better solution is to place vertical lights, or sconces, on both sides of the mirror. This gives you even, shadow-free light that's perfect for things like shaving or applying makeup. For a living room or a reading nook, you want to layer your light. Use dimmable, warm white bulbs for a cozy ambient feel. But for reading, you absolutely need a dedicated, adjustable floor lamp. And in that lamp, you'll want a specific task bulb, high lumens, a cooler temperature for better contrast, and of course, a CRI of 90+. So as we wrap all this up, the key takeaway is this. I want you to start thinking of lighting not as a finishing touch or an accessory. It is a foundational system for your home, just like your plumbing or your heating. It's the system that supports your comfort, your safety, and your independence every single day. By focusing on the big three, lumens, Kelvin, and CRI, you now have the power to completely transform your home into a space of true clarity and comfort. So the only question left is, what's the first bulb in your home you're going to check?